All right, welcome to this episode of Hammering Down. I am your host, Kaylor Hodges, and I am joined by a very special guest, a man who is from the state of Texas, I believe from Mission, Texas, grew up there, then went on to be a national champion for the North Carolina Tar Heels to get drafted into the MLS, and now is the team captain and arguably the face of the Birmingham Legion, Mr. Mikey Lopez. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you having me.
So this, I want to just go ahead and start off with just this off season
Mhm.
with how the season went in general. How much of a relief of not having to go through protocols has it been?
It's good and bad. I mean, I'm glad that we don't have to do that all the time. Bad that we don't get that security of getting tested all the time and knowing if we are COVID positive or negative. Unfortunately, I got don't know how, but my whole family tested positive. Thankfully, everyone's all right. So yeah, I mean, it's there's some good about it, but there's some bad about it as well.
So Bruno, in interview we did earlier this year, he was telling me that you guys during the season didn't have a single test positive, at least for the team. How
Mhm.
hard was that? And take me through kind of your day-to-day protocol.
Yeah, it's I think we were really disciplined and it's a uh good job by the whole team and the staff that no one tested positive. I mean, basically we just lived in a bubble, dude. Honestly, we would just go to training. I mean, at least for me, I would go to training, go back home, and that was it. um my fiance would do all the grocery shopping, and stuff, and I would literally wouldn't leave my house except for walking my dog. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting to say the least.
I don't doubt it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So let's go to the beginning of your career, at least for when most people got to know you. And that was, probably around 2011 when you guys won the NCAA tournament, which I believe you played here in Birmingham.
Correct.
Um, how was your college career and what did you focus on? Because whenever people talked about you before the draft, it was always like, well, he doesn't put up stats, he doesn't do that, but yet you were still highly regarded, which doesn't happen. What about your play made you special, whether it was on or off the field?
Yeah, I mean, we yeah that my college career was really successful, and I'm really blessed and fortunate to have been so successful. And honestly, I would just play my game. I did whatever the team asked of me, and that was defending and destroying the opposing team's attack and starting starting our attack. Um, I scored a few goals, and so that was good, and on the attacking sense. But yeah, I mean, it was literally just be the engine for the team and just be the workhorse for the team, and that was always one of my strong suits even when I was growing up. So I literally just played my game, and I'm thankful that everything just fell into place after that.
So you made the jump and you made a big name for yourself for just being a natural leader all the way to getting some under 20 youth caps for the national team. How was that experience of playing with some, looking back at it, at some amazing prospects and amazing players? What was that national team experience like for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. I really enjoyed my time with the national team. I was part of the national team system since the U15s. So I was with the U15s, U18s, and then I was lucky enough to be with the U20s and make the World Cup team in 2013. Um, it was some great experiences being able to represent our country and being able to play with some of the top players in our country. Um, Unfortunate that it didn't go past the U20s, but I'm really thankful and for that time because it was a time that really helped me improve my game.
So yeah, I mean, I told Mr. J Heaps, the president of the Legion, I was like, man, I'm going to live vicariously through you because my chance of doing the whole national team, that is way behind me. Not going to happen. Whenever you first got told that you were going to play for the men's national team for the U20s, how how pumped up were you? Because I know if it was me and I went out there, I'd probably get a red card in the first minute because I was just had so much adrenaline. How did you keep yourself composed and how do you just go on?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was really exciting time for me, and especially getting named to the World Cup squad. That was unbelievable because I mean, I know that being able to represent your country in such a like high event is something that not many people get to experience, even if it is a youth World Cup. So I was just like really excited and be able to represent my country, but not only my country, but like my hometown, my of Mission, Texas, my family. It was just amazing, and honestly, I just had to like think about it as being just another game. I try not to hype it up too much, even though the hype was unreal at the time. But yeah, I mean, I just had to think of it as another game, and just I needed to go out there and do my job.
So you talked about your your hometown of really showing up for Mission. You later moved from there to Austin, where you went to St. Stephen's Academy in order to, get some views from the higher level schools, just like UNC, where you ended up winning a national championship. How difficult was that move? And in a way, how did your family go about that gamble? Because it is a gamble to move yourself to a new school to get scholarships.
Yeah, definitely. It was extremely hard. Because I went to a boarding school, so I had to live by myself when I was in eighth grade. So I was,
Wow.
yeah, I think about 13 at the time. I when I tell you that I was crying every day, that's not an exaggeration. That I literally happened. I would cry every day, just because I wanted to be at home and be with my parents because we're such a tight knit family. So it was extremely hard, but my parents were very supportive, and at one point they even like started getting mad at me for wanting to come back home. They'd be like, you wanted this, like you better like stick through it and make the best of it because you wanted to do this. So I appreciate them like pushing me to stay over there and just keep grinding and grinding it out. um but yeah, I mean, it was definitely a gamble having to move over there and playing for a different club, living in a different city, and going to different schools. But the gamble paid off at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that my parents pushed me to do that, and it's a choice that I don't regret. And if I had to redo it, I would do it again. But hopefully now the playing system is different in here in the valley, especially so that uh, kids now they don't have to make that move and they can just stay in in their hometown and be able to get seen by the scouts that saw me too.
So the one I was going to touch on this later, but I feel like this is
Mhm.
a good time to talk about it. Your whole time in Birmingham, everybody sees you as just the leader on the pitch, whether it's on or off. And one of the big things that you're known for now, which I can always strive to reach the level that you have, is just you're an advocate for a lot of things. So, how did that come about? When did you become so passionate about helping people who are younger than you from your hometown, or even some people you have real no affiliation with?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's something that I've seen people like struggle through or struggle with, I guess, especially in the like for I guess minorities or less financially stable kids or kids with a lower financial background, because there's so many kids like that where I'm from. There's so many better players than me that never made it because they just didn't have the finances to be able to get seen by bigger clubs or be able to play for a bigger club and get seen by these scouts. Um, so that's why I'm extremely passionate about that, about helping out the next generation of Mexican American kids from cities like this, or just kids in general from cities like this that don't have the money to be able to get seen. And as for the other for like being an LGBTQ activist and stuff like that, I've always believed that it shouldn't matter uh, what who people love or what they worship or anything, and that should not matter, and that should not affect a person's success or not. So I just believe it's always in the best interest of not only the sport but in the country to be accepting of all people, because that would make our country and sport a better um, place or sport. So I mean, and if it takes people like me to fight for people that don't have a voice and people that don't have the things that I have, then I'm gonna be in the front lines of doing that.
I mean, you, for a lot of Birmingham fans, or even fans just across the country, you've become one of the faces of advocacy. And so you kind of mentioned it, and I almost wanted to jump in to be like, you said the thing. You are a part of Next Gen United.
Mhm.
So I know a little bit about it, but I would love to hear it come from you as you are one of the faces of that. What is that, and what's really the goal as you are officially a part of the U.S. soccer system now?
Yeah, I mean, our we what we ran on was like equity, inclusion, and diversity, and being able to help, like I said, help kids that don't come from or that come from um, what's it called, social economic disadvantages, because we believe that there are a lot of kids that slip through the cracks, that just because they aren't able to afford being able to play for a big club in a bigger league that'll help them get noticed. Um, so that was our main objective, was to get onto the federation to see if we can try and spark these changes within the federation, within the sport in the country. um yeah. I mean, we and we also believe that there should be representation of all people in within the federation, because we want the federation to look like the country does. Right now, it doesn't really represent the whole population of the country and of our sport. If you look at our sport, there's a lot of diverse people in it, and even our country, there's a lot of diverse people in it. So we just wanted to break away from that and cause change and be a more diverse council, first of all, and then hopefully we can spark change within the federation, have a more diverse federation as well.
You know, the whole time you're talking about that, all I could think about is from my background personally, um, I do music education. That's what I do, teach little kids. And one of my favorite groups of people to work with are elementary kids from low SES or low socioeconomic backgrounds, because those kids, they don't have the funds to play the nicest instruments, or unfortunately, sometimes they don't even have the best teachers that really care as much, and that really makes me sad. But every single time I get in front of those kids, they have so much passion for playing music and just making something that they enjoy. And so the whole time that well, you were just talking, I was like, man, just so much of that lines up with what I believe as well. So whenever you are looking to make this and basically more equal playing ground, what are the things that you're looking at doing?
Yeah, I mean, we are looking at just getting more people, scout wise, in these places, because we believe that there should be more, um, I guess, basically scouts in places that you wouldn't think of, so that we are able to see all players and try and uh, promote them to. to stay into the federation and promote them into higher positions of the federation, like for kids. So there's a lot of things that we need to do, and obviously uh, there's a lot of work, and we will be on top of that. But yeah, I mean, we there's just so many things that we need to see if we can like cause change within the federation, so that we are able to get to see all these different kids.
So, kind of going along the same thread of causing change and just, making the world a better place. One of the coolest but most anxious moments for me last year was the first game back, and the whole team, or pretty much the whole team, everybody took a knee together. And during either the national anthem or just prior for the moment of silence. And being from Alabama, I have seen the best and the worst of people. And I didn't think it would happen, but I was so afraid that when people took the knee that somebody would say something or somebody would come out or something bad would happen, and it didn't. In fact, I saw a lot of people in the supporter section or even people that were on the main stand or the grandstand take a knee along with you guys. And that was one of the coolest things that I have ever experienced, because at least for me, no one talked to me about it. It was like, hey, Kaylor, you should take a knee during the national anthem. It was people who saw what you guys were doing and said, I believe what they believe and we'll back them. Seeing that kind of fan interaction and people following you guys, even when the stereotype around the area would say they would do the opposite. What was that experience for you guys in the locker room?
Yeah, honestly, I did not know that a lot of fans kneeled with us as well. So that's surprising, but like really, like I'm really glad that people did, and encouraging that people did that. I mean, that we know that y'all, the supporters group, are they support us 100%, and we really appreciate that. So having that support with such a, I guess, like a sensitive subject, and subject that needs to be that needs to be talked about more, and then needs to change in a way. It's really, I'm really happy that everyone was very supportive, and yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to I'm really happy to hear that, because I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, it's something that, as a collective, not just within the team, but like everyone surrounding the team, the whole club, is something that we really advocate, and it's something that we're fighting for equality and equity between everybody. So I'm glad that everyone's on board with that, for sure.
So, kind of last question before we get back into, your play and everything that's on the pitch as well. That whole conversation, when that happened, I mean, the whole world was talking about what happened and what was happening just everywhere. We had COVID, we had Mr. George Floyd, we had all these things that were happening. For you guys in the locker room, what was the conversation like? And were there moments, I guess, that was maybe not tense, but it was like, okay, we're not seeing eye to eye here. How do we overcome this?
No, not at all. I think everyone was really supportive, and everyone was in agreement that this is something that we needed to do, because of the team we are, the club we are, but because of the city we're from, where the club's from. Birmingham and Alabama is one of the most, I guess, prominent states, cities for these type of issues, for racial issues. So I think it made sense for all of us to do it, and it's something that we really felt that needed to be, what's the word, needed to happen, and it's something that we needed to show not only the league, but the country, that we were in support of what was going on, and we wanted to be part of the change, and hopefully we could cause some change in a good way.
Well, I can tell you for at least me, I saw a ton of change sparked by you guys, and it was something really, really special. So I'm really glad you guys did it.
No,
So,
thank you.
so going now to going back to playing, we already talked about your US national team, but you have a ton of success outside of that from getting drafted, I believe 14th or 13th. I believe it's 14th overall.
14th maybe. I don't remember anymore either.
To Kansas City, where you got a few starts and then you got sent on loan to Orlando City, which at then was still USL. You have made the jump from USL to pro, or not to pro, sorry, to MLS a few times. I mean, you have reached the pinnacle for US soccer for a lot of people. What is that like? What was the MLS experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really great MLS experience, and I'm really thankful for that time, and hopefully I can get back there and play again there. But I mean, it was amazing, honestly. The 3 years that I spent at Kansas City, which was an unbelievable club, playing in one of the best stadiums in the country, and with such a great fan base. It was really special to have gotten drafted there and spent 3 years of my life and my career there. I learned a lot, and then I after my 3 years, I signed with New York City for 2 years, and that was unbelievable as well. Being able to play with legends and for legends. I played with Frank Lampard, Andrea Pirlo, and David Villa, and I got coached by Patrick Vieira, which is unreal to say the least. To be able to play there with them, and I learned so much from them, and be able to play in such a high like a top market in the country, and playing in New York City. Those 2 years were unbelievable. I mean, I really loved and enjoyed my time there. But I mean, the USL has gotten all 10 times better than when it first started. Like it's crazy to think how high the level has gotten since my first time that I played with, since my first loan with Orlando City. Um, and the amount of clubs that are in the league as well is it's unbelievable how many clubs there are, and the level of playing. The USL is a really good league, and it's I'm sorry.
He
um,
agrees.
yeah, but yeah, it's being able to experience both leagues it was really cool, and you can just see the difference between um, I guess the difference between like a first division and a second division, but in the sense like there's a lot more fans in the bigger stadiums in the MLS. But like I said, USL has grown a lot since then, and it continues to grow.
So you your playing career is just so interesting to me because I know, telling you that people strive to play for the national team at any level. People strive to play, at even USL. Man, if I was able just to be picked up by a USL two League Two team, I'd be like, man, I've made it. But you made it all the way to MLS. And you're also living a lot of baseball fans' dream by being able to play at Yankee Stadium. What was that like? Not only just it's not like a minor league stadium like Memphis plays at. This is Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I loved playing at Yankee Stadium. It was a really cool experience, honestly. I know, like, just knowing the history of the Yankees. I'm not a Yankee fan, but like you just know that the Yankees are like the pinnacle of MLB, and being able to play in that stadium was unreal. Honestly, I mean it was a smaller field than most most stadiums, but I think that played to our advantage a lot of times. But just being able to play at Yankee and play in the Bronx was really cool.
So something that works with those smaller fields that translates really well I believe, to your time here with the Legion, is that on those smaller fields, you can be quicker. You don't have to have as many of those slow build up plays because you just don't have the space for it. And this is not me blowing smoke. I mean, this is me just being what I observe. The Legion have some of the best just first touch passes, some of the quickest first touch passes I've seen. Is that something that Coach Tommy has talked about? Does that come from his indoor playing experience, or is that just something that you guys just all can do?
Yeah, I think it definitely is something that we train every day. Being able this our speed of play, for one, and just being able to have a lot of quick one touch passes so that we can move up the field as quickly as possible. Yeah, I mean, it's a style of play, and it's something that we train a lot. Just our transition game and being able to counter attack and quick attack against our opponents.
So last year was a weird year for everybody. Not even just excluding COVID. I mean, you after Machu went down. We had to put more people in the back line that usually don't play there. I mean, Bolu, who is a midfielder, had to play center back. You got put onto a
Yeah.
backs as well, which was not a maybe not a natural position for you, or at least it's not one that you've played forever. But you made some amazing stops, amazing defensive plays, which obviously in college you played kind of that role, but not to that extent. What was that transition for not just you, but that entire back line like?
Yeah, I think it just shows that the players that Tommy and Jay got are um, not selfish players, and they will do anything for the team, for the success of the team. Um, I played, yeah, I played left back all last year, which is a bit different and a bit difficult at times for me. Um, I did when I was at New York. I did play. I would train a lot as a right back, and I did play some games as a right back. So I kind of knew how to play that position. Um, Playing on the left was a little bit different, but it still was still very similar. So at least for me, it was not the hardest change, but it was a little change that I had to deal with. But I mean, I was able to do the job decently, or well, I guess I would say. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think we all just I think that's just a testament to the team that no matter uh, where Tommy would put us, I mean, we would try to be as successful as possible, and nobody complained about it because we all wanted to be successful as a team, and we just want to do what was best for the team.
So with this coming up season, when I talked to Mr. J Heaps, one of the things I asked him about was Bolu and him moving on, and he was talking about how they're building up the back line now, and he was one of the people, or you were one of the people that he brought up, saying that you'll be able to play more of that midfield role again. So congratulations, I guess.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I have all my years of watching USL, which I before even Birmingham came along, I've been watching the lack of turnover in the midfield this year. We lost Bolu to Miami, which congratulations to him. He's going to a great place. And obviously, Daigo, he's still going through contract negotiations. But I mean, if he comes back, awesome. If not, that's two people gone out of that whole midfield section. That's unheard of for the USL level. What's that chemistry like? And what are we going to see possible improvements from year one to year two with this core?
Yeah, I think it's really great that we've kept the same core players. I think that chemistry and just having the same consistency of players is really helpful for any club, and I'm glad that we are one of those clubs that aren't finding new players every year, because that's how a lot of championship teams are built, is with consistency and having the same core players returning year after year. So I mean, I hope, and I'm sure it's our goal to get, first of all, to get past the first round of playoffs, but to win, to host playoffs, and to get a couple of trophies from Western Conference. No, yeah, wait, no, Eastern Conference. That trophy and winning the USL championship. So, so having a lot of returning players is unbelievable for the club, and will definitely like help our chemistry.
So we obviously we lost some people in the forward department, but we
Mhm.
brought in a guy like Junior Flemings who has been just a beast everywhere he has gone. Obviously, there we all know about his off the field stuff, but on the field, just absolute stud. What with a player like him, which I believe you've had to play against him when you were at San Antonio.
I think
What
so. I'm not 100% sure, but I probably did.
as a player like him, what is that like having someone like that on your team, especially with having someone like Nico up there that you can also be able to pass to? What's that's a two-headed monster. How do you work with that as a teammate?
Yeah, I mean that it doesn't hurt to have more goal scorers on the team for sure. So, um, so having him on the team is a really good addition to the team, and hopefully will help our attack be even more dangerous than it was last year, because last year we had really good forwards as well, and we were pretty dangerous. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to get to know him and get to see his style of play, because we all have to adapt to one another. But I'm sure uh, good players are able to play with anyone. So I'm sure it'll be just fine, and I think we'll have like you said, a really dangerous two-headed monster with him and Nico.
I'm going to preface this question with I love this guy to death, but sometimes I asked Bruno about this as well. But sometimes you and Bruno and whoever else was near were having to pull Anderson away from whoever he was yelling at the moment. I love his aggression so much, but how do you guys, whether it's him or anybody else really, how do you pull someone aside and just say, "Hey, we need to calm down. We're fine." Or do you just say, "Hey, you do your thing. You get in their head and you play your game." How much balance is there with that?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to find a good balance between that. I mean, we all love his aggression, Anderson's aggression, and his willingness to fight. Um, but yeah, I mean, we just got to find a good balance of not being level headed, and using that to our advantage, rather than being a disadvantage. Um, and he's done really good for our club and for the team, and hopefully we continue to have success with him, and hopefully he continues to get under other teams, other players' skin.
There were some times I really thought he was going to kill somebody. I was like, okay, someone needs to stop him. But on the other
Uh,
hand, I was so excited to see it. Anytime he got in anybody's face, I was just like, let him go, let him do his thing. I have so much fun watching him play, man.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he's good. He's a good player to have on your team. He would be a nightmare to play against, but a good person to have on your team.
So, just kind of going through the personalities of the club. Obviously, you're known for your hair and whatever you're going to do with it. Mr. Matt Van Okel, whatever he decided to do for the playoffs. I don't know why anybody allowed him to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I don't
um,
know.
but just outside of, those guys, like who do you think has like sneaky fashion? Who are the guys that, kind of fly under the radar that don't get the recognition like you or Mr. Van Okel do?
um, I think it's kind of hard to say, especially last year, because no one was able to express themselves off the field. We all had to go pretty much in uniform to the stadium, so no one got to see anyone's fashion sense or lack of fashion sense. So I don't know. I can't really tell you right now. Hopefully this year we're able to dress in the way that we want before games, and then I can give you a better answer.
Man, I was showing up to a match and I had to get there kind of early. And I saw Daigo pull up in his black Mustang.
Yeah.
His windows were down, blasting music. His hair was just flowing out the window. Is he the coolest human to ever live, or what?
Oh, oh man, he really is. I mean, there's a reason his nickname is Legend, because everything he does is legendary. Honestly, he's such a cool person. He really nice and humble guy. But when it's time to work and it's time to fight, he'll work and fight. So I mean, everything about him is just oozes class, and he really is like one of the best people on the team.
All right. So just a couple more things. You're doing some inner squad stuff, and you have a guy coming at you and you're having to stop them. Who is the scariest dude that on your team that you're just like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to stop this.
Um, Nico is pretty difficult to stop because he can go right or left, and he's pretty pacey. Uh, Johnny Dean is difficult just because of how fast he is. Um, JJ's pretty difficult just because of how big he is. He's just a large human being. Um, uh, would say Bruno and Prosper are also hard just because of how shifty they are on the ball. We got some pretty difficult guys too, that if you don't really want to see yourself go up against on a 1v1.
For sure. I mean, we saw that all the time last year. Some poor keeper would have to go one-on-one with Bruno or Nico, and
Yeah,
you're like, well, that sucks.
yeah.
Oh man. Well, I really do appreciate you coming out and talking to me. A couple more things. One I saw recently, and you mentioned it already that you recently got engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you.
how is planning gone for that, or because of COVID, have you even started?
No, yeah, we've been started a while ago. I mean, planning is going well. It's a little, I guess, a little difficult just because we don't really know what's gonna be happening with COVID. Hopefully, everything's gone by then. So fingers crossed with that, but we don't know. So there's some unknowns with that, but yeah, planning has been going well. She's been doing most of it, but I put my 2 cents every once in a while.
Well, it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, last thing before I head off, I just want to give you a chance to say whatever's on your mind. So, is there anything that you want to talk about with advocacy stuff, or just stuff you want to say to the Legion fans? Just is what do you want to get out there?
No, just thank you guys, and I mean thank you for having me on. But we just thank you to all the support from the fans, and we really appreciate y'all and everything you guys do for us, and being backing us up through thick and thin. So we really appreciate everything that you guys do for us and for the club and the city as well. And hopefully we have another or more successful season this year, and we're able to bring some trophies back to Birmingham and back to the fans here in with the club.
All right, man. Once again, thank you for joining me, Mikey.
Yeah,
Cannot wait to see you on the field again.
yeah, appreciate you. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you.